one of the biggest and honestly the most political hurdles that folks are telling us they're facing right now is pressure from executives and hiring managers to actually recruit from their alma maters or from schools they simply like, whether that's those Ivy League schools, those top ranked schools, or even having certain regional preferences, even when those schools don't actually align with the hiring needs that folks are having. Now, don't get me wrong, right? It's exciting to have that kind of executive interest in early talent and for leadership pipelines, but it can be really, really difficult to actually build a business case for why we might need to focus elsewhere. So, Jinx, let's say that I'm one of your members facing this challenge. How might you advise me here?
Absolutely, Hannah. So it's a pretty common scenario and transparently one that we coach on pretty regularly here at Varus. And I would start with saying here's where data actually becomes your superpower. And access to data is so critical. But again, the best way to shift this conversation is by tying school strategy directly to potential target talent outcomes. So think what majors are available at that school, what hiring success have you had there historically, how does the demographic profile align with your potential diversity goals if you have them, what does the conversion data tell you, right? What is longer term retention, right? 2, 3, 4 years after they graduated an internship program or a first full-time role. All of those are sort of the important questions that you need to ask. What we do and what I've done with a lot of my members historically is build out what we call talent alignment scorecards or school strategy scorecards. And what these do is they show very clearly how well a school maps to hiring needs today. And it's not necessarily just its reputation or history, but it is both qualitative and quantitative data. So I'm actually going to pull up an example of one of these live on the screen right now. And it is just an Excel, but what we've actually built out here, there's a couple different sets of data. This is like a redacted version of a member that I worked with historically. But you can see we took some of their core schools or schools that they regionally recruit from down here on the left. We even actually furthermore cut some of this data by specific talent groups that they were looking into. So for them, it was business students, engineering students, information systems students. We furthermore tracked some historical data here. So you can see where were their total interns a couple years ago, right? Where their total direct hires. And then we have all this data over here to the right. And I know there's a lot of numbers on the screen, but we basically pulled graduation statistics from each school. And so we have the total degrees conferred at the bachelor's level. We can do this across bachelor's, master's, PhDs, even associates talent if we want to. And then we have all of our demographic data. For this specific member, it was really important that there was certain demographic percentages at the schools they recruited from. And so we highlighted one specifically here. This is our Black and African American talent. And you can see specific percentage numbers that they pulled out at each one of these schools. And so this gave them a really good way of mapping, hey, who is there, who's graduating, and comparing that to what are our goals as a company. And then furthermore, what we did is if we keep sliding over here to the right, we actually get to more of a ranking system. And so we have both, again, qualitative and quantitative data. This is the qualitative section where university recruiting team members would actually go through and rate different criteria. Think branding or competition, services, internal resources, hiring metrics. This is where you can add in a section for internal opinion or potential ROI impact for some diversity KPIs. And then we aggregate that out into a score. And it's a really, really easy way to actually rank your schools in a very simplistic version so that the business can very easily see, hey, my alma mater might not actually be as good as we think it is when it comes to the goals that we have internally. So that's just one example. And what we tend to find, Hannah, is that when executives see those cold hard numbers, it becomes much easier to make a logical case for an evolving school list. And again, if you remember back to the beginning of the session, school strategy is fluid. So this might change year to year, and that's totally fine. But I'm curious, does that approach feel like something that would land a little bit better in your organization or organizations that you've worked with?
Absolutely. It really does. Honestly, Jinx, even just having a framework like a school scorecard makes it feel a lot less personal when I might be pushing back on an executive's favorite school.